They don't see that it was clearly listed on the website. They think it's rude to make them wait in line. They can't believe you won't be open this Sunday. They think you're the crazy one. They're not normal customers, oh no. They are the Patronarchy.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Patronarchy. We're open for business and ready to talk about the customers that didn't want good service, they wanted good servitude. I'm your host Vincent, here to give you more stories of the horrible, wacky world of customer service. And with me today is a good friend of mine that I know has got a few good stories under his belt. He's known this guy for many years, ladies and gentlemen. Please welcome Mike.
Well, I'm Mike. Thank you for the intro.
Yeah.
I don't think I can do much better than that, but yep.
Yeah.
Born and raised Pittsburgh, known Vincent since college, and I am a big film connoisseur. I went to film school even, but not much came of that. But still, it was fun.
I don't know, man. Like I said in the last episode, I didn't do much with college either, unfortunately. So
I think it's pretty common in our generation, unfortunately.
yeah, there was some.
And then we end up in retail or customer service type jobs.
I know this is the fate we have ended up with, but now it's led to this little show, which I hope everyone's going to enjoy. Because oh my god, I mean, one of these days I'll probably get into some of my stories, but for now, it's time for my friends to talk about theirs. Mike, my friend, please tell us about your encounters with the Patronarchy.
I'm going to start off with a pizzeria I used to work in. It was not my favorite job. I learned to make pizzas. I guess that's the bonus. But it was a very cramped place. The ovens were right behind us. They're in the summertime, so hot. You're just covered in sweat.
Oh, yeah.
And it's easy to kind of not be in a great mood sometimes, and makes the customer service much more annoying to deal with. There's nothing worse than serving people food, I feel like, because people are so damn picky and they're so needy, and if you get something wrong, depending on the person, they'll be the worst people imaginable. And there was a few different instances, circumstances I can remember, but I'll mention one from that. So we got this phone call from somebody who was just, kind of not being very clear in what they wanted, and they kept changing their mind. They would say they wanted mushrooms, but then they'd say a different topping, and then we do you still want the mushrooms? And they're like, what? No. And then later on they'd add mushrooms back on, and then they started then talking to someone in the background, and then there was even some debate about whether or not they still wanted the pizza.
Oh my god.
And it was so freaking confusing that when we got off the phone, we were like, should we make this pizza or not? Because I don't even know if this guy's coming, with the way that was going, and then she was kind of an assistant manager, but
okay.
She basically said, no, let's not waste a pizza if we don't know anything. So this guy shows up.
Of course. Of course. I mean, I understand where your manager was thinking. I mean, it sounds like this guy was so chaotic. I'd probably put my money on he might not even show up. So I can see where your manager is coming, but of course he shows up. That's indecisive customers can just drive you freaking nuts, man. I mean, it is crazy. It's just so fucking crazy. But anyway, continue. Sorry, that's just me venting a bit.
Oh yeah, no, it's understandable. But so he shows up expecting his pizza to be hot and ready to go, and I was like, hey, that guy showed up, and she was like, okay, and then she came out for both of us to kind of address him. Yep. And we were just like, yeah, sir, if you just want to wait a little bit, we will start that pizza up for you. Well, you already know where this is going. I mean, he wants it right now. He is absolutely flipping furious that it wasn't ready for him when he got to the door.
Here we go.
And he started screaming, mostly at the assistant manager. I feel so bad for her. She was such a lovely person. I really liked her a lot. And she was such a good worker. Everybody liked her. And he was screaming at her. And I was just like, I didn't know what to do. And, she was trying to hold it together with him, but he was just being a total dick. Fortunately, our actual manager, the upper general manager, came into the shop around this time.
Okay.
And he was able to kind of get in the middle of it, but like she started crying. I felt so bad for her.
Oh.
I felt so bad for her. It broke my heart because like she was a really great person, really really fantastic worker, like I said. But like yeah, this guy really got to her. I've never seen her like that. I mean, so he just broke her down. It was really sad. But yeah, guess what though? We gave him a stupid pizza anyways. So
Did you still make him pay for it, or was it at this point because he freaked out? Was the manager like, just give it to him?
oh man, I wonder what happened. I'm wondering. I can't remember. I know the manager, he dealt with calming the guy down.
Oh, okay.
And
So
he dealt with whether or not the guy paid, I guess.
Okay, so
I mean,
he took it all the way at that point.
yeah, he handled it. He just had to stand to the side. Of course, in the back, I totally started like supporting, my, the assistant manager and just saying like, look, she did nothing wrong, like nothing at all. This guy came in just screaming, and so yeah, it was an unfortunate situation. But that is just one of the many examples of how customers can be.
Yeah, that is a damn shame. I mean, now the manager that initially dealt with him before the general manager came in, did she get in trouble for the situation? Did the general manager come down on her, or did he understand?
No, fortunately he understood. I mean, he saw how intense the guy was,
Right.
And like, I think she was really worried that she was going to be in trouble, and like, especially when I started saying my side of it and just saying like, look, this is what happened. But I think the manager was a pretty cool dude, also, the general manager, and he was totally open to hearing what happened from her side and everything. And once that was all said, then he was just trying to calm her down. And he was like,
Right.
no, it's totally okay. It's totally okay. And he was great with her, and like, and then she was, she shook it off, and she got right back on track, and she was great again. I mean, she was always solid. She was one of my favorite people to work with.
Oh man, that's great. I'm glad she, I'm glad she was okay. And it's also great, when the general manager having her back, because sometimes you can have such a bad day at work, but if you've got a good manager who's like a legit leader, like somebody, they will have your back at the end of the day. And having them like say, hey, no, you're fine. That guy was freaking out, or that woman was freaking out, or what have you. It's such a relieving, thing for that to happen at the end of the day. The manager, lets hey, you're fine. Don't worry about it, because a bad day, if you have a manager that doesn't have your back, even the day that's technically good by customer standard can be horrible, and it just mounts up. So I'm so glad the GM had her back, and I'm assuming had your back at the same time.
Yeah, and well, that's certainly not the only time that's happened in my life where a manager's had to like try to figure out who is being more straight with me, the customer or the employee.
Right.
Fortunately, in most circumstances, actually, usually the managers do side with the employee.
Yeah.
Like I've had really good managers over the years, and they usually do get your back.
Oh, totally. Yeah. No, that's so important. A lot of managers I've had over the years usually have the employees back. It's been very rare where I've encountered somebody who's they've made me or other staff members felt like they didn't have our backs.
Yeah.
But then again, they might just be they have our backs in front of the customer, but behind the scenes they stab you in the back. But anyway,
I've been fortunate in that way that most of the bosses I've had have been good people. So
okay, cool. Oh man, mentioning that this guy made your manager cry reminds me of this one time. This is back when I was working at the movie theater. There was this one customer. I think I was the usher that shift. So and I think I was between movies. Like I had a little break, so I was out front in the lobby, and one of my coworkers, she was behind a concession. This guy comes up, order. That's. If anyone's wondering why I just started laughing, it's like our cat is on the other side of my door crying now for attention. Milo, go, I'll give you scratches afterward. Go away, bro. Give you scratches. Go.
If he actually listened to you, that'd be impressive. He's like, okay, just walks away.
That or my roommate's calling. Milo, shush.
Can they hear him?
I don't know. Be quiet for a sec. Yeah, it's coming up. I can see it on the...
Shit.
All right.
Do you want to call an intermission here while you like?
We'll be right back. I'll be right back. Damn! Oh.
Wow, magic.
I know.
It's like you don't even have an editing program.
I know. I'm just that damn good. But anyway, the story I was going to tell before our cat started crying. Anyway, so this guy comes up to the concession. My coworker waits on him, and he wants a pretzel. And unfortunately, none of the pretzels, we like, it'd been a busy day, so we didn't have any pretzels warm and ready. So she had to grab a pretzel out of the freezer and heat it up real quick in the microwave. And when she did it, she put on a little, like, those, like, super cheap plastic disposable gloves, grabbed the pretzel, put it in, warmed it up, and then she took the glove off. And when she picked the pretzel out, she got a little bit of wax paper, grabbed it, whisked the wax paper, put it in the box. She presented it to the guy, and the guy said, "I'm not taking that. Your hands would have gotten sweaty when you were wearing those gloves. Do it again." And
I've had that experience.
she did it again, and she wore gloves. She wore the gloves a little bit longer this time, but now the guy's saying, "Well, you got sweat on the gloves now because you didn't wash your hands before you put the new set of gloves." Meanwhile, ladies and gentlemen, if you've never worked like in a food type environment, restaurant, or like a concession stand, which is basically a mock kitchen, I like to think of it as, in a way, your hands don't get that fucking sweaty after being in that plastic glove for only, like, she wasn't even having on for not even a minute. And this guy got so angry, upset with her. Like, at first we were confused. It's like, what are you talking about? Like, could have gotten that sweaty. He yelled at her so bad that she started crying and had to run to the restroom because she was so embarrassed and ashamed. The manager thankfully came out, took care of the guy, just gave him his pretzel and be like, get going. Just get it, all right? Enough. But, it's so, that's some of the stuff that, that's we're going to cover on this, this show as time goes on. We kind of covered, about these customers that just push things too far. If something went wrong at where where you're at, whatever, bar, restaurant, movie theater, whatever, and a mistake's been made by the company, by the employees, fine, that's a legitimate complaint. But but when you take it that step too far and you're just being completely unreasonable, no, that crap I can't tolerate.
Yeah, that story you told, exactly the same thing has happened in my experience. But yeah, there's like so many little things that don't even involve full storytelling, but like just little things like if there isn't like 4 pieces of pepperoni on one slice, it's like all the other slices have 4. That one only has like 2. Why? Like, you need to give me 2 more. Like, there's like, just crap like that. This is like, and you just get this feeling that these people have never worked like a job like this in their life.
Yeah.
And then some of them even try to say, they're like, hey, back when I worked, at a job like this, we didn't tolerate this kind of crap. And it's like, I don't know, man.
I know. I think that's what that's what your mind has made you think, but no. But anyway, Mike, story number 2. What do you got?
Well, I told myself after the pizzeria that I would never work in food again, which I did actually end up working some food later. But I'm gonna veer off that course and go for a different venue here.
Okay.
I used to work at a community center for Halloween. They would throw like these haunted like hayride things, stuff like that, and I participated for like I think 4 or 5 years in that. And I would sometimes work different things. Like sometimes I would like be on the trail of the hayride and have an entire scene that I designed and put up. It was kind of like my first experience in production, which was kind of cool. Like we came up with some pretty complicated stuff.
Nice.
But this one night, I kept it simple and I just decided to be a dude in like a suit. I don't even know what suit it was. It was like Ghostface or Michael Myers. I don't know. But I was just sitting in the tunnel. Like there's this horror tunnel that would lead to the ticket area. And I would just sit there and act like maybe I was like stuffed, maybe I was not
like
real.
a mannequin.
Yeah, so I would just sit there and act like I was nothing, and then like every now and then, I'd jump out somebody. It was funny. You had many different reactions to this. Like some people, when you jump out and they turn and scream, and they just push you. Like
I was about to say, I'm sure this happened.
Yeah. Those were kind of funny. Some of them are fun. And you even get opportunities to like, do things that are kind of cool. Like, like there's this one time that a father was coming through with a son that seemed to have maybe some anxiety. I don't know. He seemed to have some trouble with some of the stuff. I don't know if this is the best place to bring him to if he has that kind of anxiety, but he saw what I was doing. Yeah. He saw what I was doing though. And, when his son, he came up, he said, please don't, just don't. I was like, yeah, just like, okay, I'm not going to with this one. So I was happy I could accommodate, but I'm pretty sure that other things in that place are going to scare the crap out of your kid.
Yeah.
But anyways, so one of the things that sucked though, It does involve kids. There's another thing about working for customers is the children. I noticed that like every age group, every like demographic, there's always this one type of person that sucks. Like senior citizens, there's a type. We all know that type.
Right.
But with children, the type are in this situation, they would just know what I was, and they would just run through the tunnel over and over again and kick me. That kept happening throughout the night. Like they were just hanging out. I don't even know what they were doing when they weren't in a tunnel doing that. But like every so often, like two of them or something in a row would run by and just kick me as they ran by. And like it just got to a point where like this was like a couple hours later of them still coming through and kicking me occasionally. Oh, and they were doing something else. They were telling people before they even came into the tunnel, they were telling people coming in, oh, there's a guy down there who's pretending to be a mannequin. He's not real. So just spoiling it for everybody. So it got to a point where this one kid finally went to kick me, and I just put my foot out, and like I tripped him. Like, well, keep in mind, by the way, at this point I was like 16, 17, so I was also pretty young.
Okay,
I would never have done that as an adult.
I gotta say, this doesn't sound like
because I was doing this for 4 or 5 years. By the time the last year I did it, I think I was 22 or 21.
Okay.
So yeah, at this point I was still kind of a kid myself,
right.
And this kid was maybe like 12 or something.
Okay.
So it wasn't like a huge age difference, but like. But yeah, there was just a certain point where I was like, I just put my foot out and just tripped him and stuff. And then like he then got up with his buddies and they did a little chest kind of thing. And they came at me like, you got a problem and stuff. And then like I was just trying to ignore them, and they kept saying, this guy wants to fight. Hey, this guy wants to fight. And like I was just like, and then finally I did stand up and I like looked at them, and I was obviously like a little bit bigger than them, but they're like, ooh, what are you gonna do? And I was like, inside the mask, I was I was like, okay, just take a break. So I just turned around and started like walking away, and they were just yelling out different things, whatever. I think they came back the next day and kicked me a couple times too. But yeah, the children in customer service, they're never.
Oh. Yeah, because like kids are even worse because you literally have to like handle them with like kid gloves. Because, I mean, no offense, but I don't, you tripped them. I don't fucking care.
I mean, like
you were a teenager, man. They were hassling you.
That's
if you were like, I did it when I was 20. Yeah, it'd be like, Mike.
Yeah, I probably should have specified the age I was when the story happened. But yeah, I was also pretty young.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't seriously injure them. You didn't crack them across.
No,
the
they
face.
actually, like I said, they got up and tried to fight me. So yeah.
Yeah, but no, I mean, so kudos to you because like, somebody else probably would have started smacking them around because I remember it was like years ago. It was like some movie theater out in California. I don't mean to go back to movie theaters, but anyway, it was this guy. He went to go see a movie, and there's these, and I think it was some college age guy, and there's these two young kids that were like 12, and it was some R-rated film. So the kids weren't supposed to be in the theater, but they were just running all around inside the auditorium while the movie's playing. So this guy's trying to watch this movie and enjoy it, and apparently he just snapped and he attacked the kids. So it's some people. So kudos to you for like not escalating the fight. I mean, you tripped them. Yeah, it was teen angst. No one's gonna hold that. I'm not holding that against you. Ain't no one gonna hold that against you, man. You were fucking 6. Who didn't do dumb shit when they were 16, 15, whatever? Yeah,
I definitely don't condone it. It's nothing I would ever do as an adult.
No. God, no. But God, kids can be the worst. We've all. I mean, especially when their parents aren't around, because it's like an animal unleashed, man. They got nothing to stop them from escaping the backyard and jumping over that fence. And
you know what? It's even worse sometimes when the parents are around, because then, like, if you try to turn the kid down or something or other, then the parents will get really defensive. Like, don't you talk to my kid like that?
Good point. Good point.
Don't you come at him like that? That's my job. Yeah.
Like, I've definitely had that before. When I was working at one place, this kid climbed up on this it was this egg-shaped chair. This is at another job I had. It was like an egg-shaped chair, and the kid was climbing up on top of it, and I saw the kid, and I saw the mom, and I looked at the mom, and I was like, I gave her that look, like, are you gonna get your kid off the top of the chair? Because it was a chair shaped like an egg, so I had this dome-like thing going to it, and the kid was climbing to the top of it. And I gave the mom a look. I was like, you gonna do something about this? And then she didn't do nothing. And she looked at me. We had eye contact. She didn't say nothing to me. She didn't say nothing to the kid. So I went over to the kid and was like, hey man, you can't climb up on top of that. I need you to get down. And that's really all I said. I didn't say a tone of voice. I didn't say like, get the hell down off of there. I didn't say that. And she looked at me with like the definition of a death glare and said, don't tell my kid what to do. I tell him what to do. Don't you dare tell him, like, like, and I'm just, and seriously, like, after, like, I gave you this acknowledgement look like, hey, your kid, like, and I just, oh God, and when she gave me that look and just like, I wanted to so bad to say back to her, like, well, if you were acting like a parent, I wonder if I'd tell your kid to get down off the thing. I didn't say that, but oh God, those are the moments like, oh God, that's why, if there was ever like The Purge, the movie, if there was like a mini Purge where it wasn't like you get to kill people, but you get to just say whatever the fuck you want to them.
Yeah.
Oh my God, all the things I would say to people. Oh, I don't know if I'd be the world's biggest asshole, because everyone at that point would be an asshole. Say whatever the hell you want, unfiltered, without any societal ramifications. But yeah, kids can be the worst, and
they're tricky because it's different than dealing with an adult. An adult,
right.
Well, it's a different type of challenge, because dealing with adults can be worse because they actually they can stand up to you in some way, intellectually sometimes. But challenge you and ask for managers and stuff like that. Kids, it's hard because if you mistreat them, then you might have an angry parent running in. So
yeah. But kids can play mind games too. As a former manager of mine used to say, kids are like these shitty lawyers. They will try to break down and like flip stuff and be like, well, technically under this rule of the place, and it's like, no, that's not how it works. And they try to mess with you, but oh yeah, kids can be. I'm gonna have kids. I'm probably gonna have a kid someday, I think, but
that's
I'm probably gonna be hard on them.
That's the thing.
I'm gonna be gentle and then just back and forth.
That's the thing. Despite anything negative I say about kids, I also kind of would like to be a dad someday. Yeah. I mean, so I like kids. I like them in certain situations.
Yeah, but I like them when I don't have to like care for them and take them home and give them food and shelter. But
I like them when they're better trained.
You know what? I'm not no judge, because I said they're like animals off a leash getting out of the backyard, so I get it. But yeah. Oh my God. All right, Mike. You got one more story for us?
I can tell another one. This one's a little more brief though, because my memory on this one's a little bit more foggy. But like,
that's okay.
It was also the community center, Halloween stuff. I just remember that there was a night that I was working the ticket table, and I remember that there was this dude that came multiple nights, and he kept sneaking past us, and he had a stamp on his hand. So, they would kind of like catch him, and, he would just be like, oh, and then, they would, we had kids working for us sometimes, so sometimes they wouldn't do their job correctly, and they'd let him through. But this guy like was getting in for free, like a few nights in a row, and finally I caught him. I didn't have someone I was serving at the time, so I walked over to him and I was like, "Sir, do you have a ticket for tonight?" And then he was like that with his like thing, and I was like, "Yeah, sir, but that's like good for one night. Like you need to pay to come tonight." And then and then he like flipped a shit. And the thing that's like always sad about these things is when people know they've done something wrong, but yet they act like they've done nothing wrong. Like you're doing something wrong. You're going through without paying for being in. So yeah, he started flipping out, like yelling at me, and like I do remember him like accusing me of harassment or something. It did get bad enough where the supervisor, it's not really a manager in this situation, but the person overseeing the hayride, they had to come over and like calm him down. And stuff, which didn't work, actually. I remember now it didn't work. I remember they came over and tried, but he was yelling at them too. And
it's all coming back to you now, isn't it?
Yeah, this one's a little foggy, but like I do remember he was yelling at them too, and I think it got into a situation where he just stormed off, because I think the manager actually was willing to try to work with him to accommodate him in some way, but the way he was being so rude, I think that the manager just said, "Look, you're gonna have to pay, or I'm not gonna let you in," or something like that. And yeah, eventually I think he just stormed off screaming insults back at us and stuff. But yeah, it's like that self-entitled crap though. It's like,
yes.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah. You know what I find interesting about the self-entitled stuff? Like, I've seen it from like when most people think of this kind of stuff. It all the times, yeah. You think of it like, oh, it's these upper class people who are like have a lot of money. But I've seen it from middle class people too. They just come in and they expect the world from the customers. And as I said, this show's not about calling out every customer that's ever had a complaint. Sometimes an employee screws up. Yep. Sometimes a business or a company has a crappy policy that they have some loophole in that screws over the customers. Well, a lot of the times, let's be honest. But anyway, this is not, this show is not about calling out all customers saying like, no, you should be grateful we even give this shit to you. No, it's about people who like have unrealistic expectations, especially in this privileged sense. And I've seen it from upper class and middle class people. It's just, and I want, if I'm working somewhere and a customer comes in, I want them to have a good time, no matter what services we're providing. And I guess, some days maybe you're catching that person on a bad day and they're taking it out on you, which I don't condone. I don't know why you're pissed, but take it out on the person who got you pissed, not me. But it's just like, you gotta remember, like, hey, we're people too. We go home at the end of the day, we got our bills to pay, and it's just some people they take it too far, man. Just, okay, I'm sorry, I'm sorry you have to pay to enjoy the hayride, jackass. Like, what the... is it really that important to you that you're showing up every day for a friggin' hayride? Well,
I think actually he was showing up because I think that, if I remember correctly, I think that we had, like... Again, this is all foggy because this is back when I was, like, in my late teens. But I think he was showing up because we might have had a special drink or something. And I think he was going straight to get the drink.
I still think that's fucking stupid.
Yeah, it's something like that. I can't remember, but I remember that I was told by the people where he was going in the place. I think he went on the hayride maybe the first night he was there, but then I think he was just getting drinks and candy and stuff that we had there, and I don't know why. But
so he wasn't even there for basically your main attractions. He was there for like an alcoholic drink or some fruity drink.
I think it was an alcoholic drink, but I'm trying to remember. It's been so long now.
It's okay, man. Either which way, this guy's... screw him.
Yeah. Doesn't have anything else to do, I guess.
I guess not.
Yeah, though, for, every customer that, isn't great, there's a lot of customers that are. And, like, I also, like when customers do recognize an employee has done something wrong, but they also realize that it wasn't like they intentionally did something wrong. It was just a mistake, and yeah. I've been fortunate to have a lot of good customers that just come forward and they're like, hey, you forgot this one thing. And then, like, you're like, oh, I'm so sorry. And they're like, no, it's totally fine. I know how it is. And it's like, oh, that's great. It's good to have customers like that.
A little sympathy. A little sympathy is all we ask. Now, if it's like someone's making the same mistake multiple times, that I can get. That I understand. But if it's like one-off thing, hey, man, whatever. People screw up sometimes,
Yeah, I always give customers the benefit of the doubt. And I always, expect they're going to be good people. I try to. It's like the positive attitude you got to go into.
Oh, yeah, got the benefit of the doubt.
Yes, you expect them to be good people. And then, of course, if they prove you're wrong, well, then you got to deal with it. I've definitely had a lot of stories over the years. Some of which, I can't actually talk about because some of them I'm still kind of close to.
I gotcha. Oh, yeah, no, I don't want you, revealing anything makes you uncomfortable.
But customers,
Yeah, definitely. Oh, man, damn. All right. Well, Mike, thank you for coming on the show, man. I really appreciate this. Good stories, man. Good relatable stories, which is what I think is, what's, what I'm liking most about doing this series is just like so many of us can relate to this stuff, and you were the first person to bring up working at a kind of a haunted house joint, so we'll mark that as a little milestone here on the show. But anyway, dude, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. And for those of you who are watching, hey, let me know down in the comments, what do you think of Mike's story? Do you have some similar stories to his? If you do, leave them down in the comments. And if you're enjoying this, hey, click the like button. It helps out a lot more than you might think. YouTube, it's an algorithm thing. If you're not familiar how it works on YouTube, subscriptions. If you want to subscribe to see more episodes, please do click the subscribe button. But honestly, liking and leaving comments is a huge help. So please do that if you got something to say or if you're enjoying the video.
I'm doing a like symbol for you.
Bloop, right there. But anyway, guys, thank you for checking out the show. We got have a new episode out in another week or two. But until next time. Take it easy.